You're not imagining it. The same paycheck that covered everything a few years ago doesn't stretch the same way now. Groceries, gas, rent, insurance, all of it. But here's the real reason, and it's not the one you've been told. It's not just that prices went up. It's that your money got demoted. The same dollars with less power. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how that happened and what actually helps. So here's the thing. When people talk about this, they always say one word: inflation. Prices went up. Inflation. End of story. And that word does a lot to make you stop asking questions. But think about what it actually means for you. $1 is just a claim on stuff. On a loaf of bread, on a gallon of gas, an hour of somebody's time, whatever it may be. When that dollar buys less of all of it, the dollar didn't change. Its job just got harder. It got demoted to a lower position, and the pay cut came out of your pocket. And I spent almost 30 years getting paid by the hour, so let me put it the way it actually feels. You didn't get a pay cut on paper. Your number's the same or even higher. But what that number buys quietly shrank. That's a pay cut nobody announced. Now here's the part that really matters, and almost nobody explains it. This demotion doesn't hit everybody the same way. Think about where your money goes versus where a wealthy person's money goes. For you and me, almost every dollar goes to needs. Housing, food, gas, insurance, the stuff you just can't skip. And those are exactly the categories that went up the most. Not the optional stuff, the unavoidable stuff. So, the price increases landed hardest on the things working people spent the highest share of their income on. Meanwhile, somebody with money has a big chunk sitting in a house they already own, or in investments, and a lot of those things went up in value over the same stretch. So, the same event, your money got demoted, their assets got a raise. Same economy, opposite direction. So then you hear on the news that inflation cooled. It's down to some small percent, whatever it may be. And you think, then why does my grocery bill still hurt? Well, here's the catch, and it's simple once you see it. When they say inflation slowed, that doesn't mean prices came down. It means they're going up slower than they were. The high prices didn't reverse. They just stopped climbing as fast. So picture it like this. The price climbed a giant hill and then sat at the top. Cooling just means it stopped climbing. It didn't walk back down the hill. You're still standing at the top of that hill every time you check out. That gap right there between what the headline says and what your receipt says, that's the gap that makes people feel crazy. You're not crazy. You're reading your own receipt correctly. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to make a budget and cut out coffee and cut out this and that. You've heard that 1,000 times, and you already know that's not the answer, because you can't budget your way out of a structural problem. If the prices of things you need went up and stayed up, trimming your spending around the edges doesn't fix the math. It just makes the squeeze a little bit less tight for a little while. And I'd argue the honest move is to stop blaming yourself for not stretching a dollar that got demoted. That guilt is misplaced. You're being asked to do the same job with a weaker tool and then feel bad you're tired. So what actually moves the needle? Well, I think there's 3 things, and none of them are about coupons. So, number 1, focus your energy on income, not pennies. Getting your hourly rate up, switching to a job that pays real money, asking for the raise, that fights the demotion head on. $1 more an hour beats a dozen little cutbacks. Number 2, protect the big categories first. The needs that got hit the hardest, housing, insurance, your car, are where the real money is. Shopping your car insurance or renegotiating one big bill beats agonizing over the small stuff. I recently, within the last 2 weeks, went and checked into some new insurance just to check prices. And I'm saving $300 for a 6-month policy, which that's big money. And so I encourage you to check into insurance. That's a big one. Number 3, know the game you're in. When the headline says things are fine and your receipt says otherwise, trust the receipt. People who understand what's actually happening make calmer, better moves than people running on guilt and confusion. Your money got demoted. That's not your fault. and it's not a budgeting failure. Once you see it clearly, you stop fighting yourself and start fighting the actual problem. I make these videos for people who work for a living, no suits and no lectures, just somebody breaking down what's really happening to our money. If this made you click or you know somebody who needs to hear it, send this their way, and I'll see you in the next video.